Most likely you're watching this video today because you're investigating Lincoln Heritage's Funeral Advantage program or their Funeral Consumer Guardian Society program. Maybe you're an agent looking for information. Maybe you're a consumer who is considering buying from Lincoln Heritage one of these types of programs. What I'm going to attempt to do in this video is briefly describe how these programs works, give you the pros and cons of each, and then give you a way to find a second opinion if you find how these programs aren't necessarily in your best interest. My name is David Duford of BuyLifeInsuranceForBurial.com, where I help people like you find quality burial insurance coverage as an independent broker. So let's jump right in and describe to you exactly how this Lincoln Heritage Funeral Advantage program works. Essentially, the Funeral Advantage program is a final expense, simplified issue whole life insurance product, which most consumers buy to pay for their final expenses like burial or cremation expenses. Let's unpack those definitions a little bit so you better understand what this all means. A simplified issue product, like Lincoln Heritage's, does not require a medical exam. There's no physical to take, no specimens like blood or urine or saliva to give. Your insurability is determined on answering a set of questions to determine if you're approved for their product or rated up at one of their other ones or flat out declined. The nice thing about it is that it gives you an instant decision without having to wait around for days, weeks, or even months for the company to let you know where you qualify for. It is a whole life product, which means that the coverage never cancels due to age or health, and the rates never increase under any circumstances. The question of how long you have to wait for coverage depends on whether or not you can qualify for their level plan or their modified plan. You see, their level plan with Lincoln Heritage's Funeral Advantage program covers first day full coverage. So in this example, if you qualified and were approved for the plan and died of any natural causes after the first payment, you would be fully protected. Whereas their modified plan only covers after the first 2 years for natural death in full, where the first 2 years are pay a limited death benefit that essentially is a return of premium plus a small percentage of interest. So there's an ability to qualify for something less than full coverage with Lincoln Heritage depending upon your ability to be medically underwritten and your health overall. So let me kind of go a little bit further. So this is basically what we call a burial insurance program. There's a lot of different options. We'll get to that in a minute. But the essence of this is that this is a product that may be a good fit for you if you're looking for coverage on yourself or a loved one and you want to make sure your final expenses are covered and that you don't have to worry about paying for the escalating prices of cremations or burials. So let's go a little bit deeper into the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society program. Again, a brief explanation. I'm going to include some links below on Lincoln Heritage as well as a review site that will better understand or better help you understand if you want more explanation. Basically, the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society program is a nonprofit, unrelated organization that is related in the sense of partnering with Lincoln Heritage to allow for a program that essentially potentially lowers the actual price that you or your beneficiaries will pay for a funeral. Here's how it kind of works in a nutshell. The Funeral Consumer Guardian Society shops your ability or shops your funeral or service or whatever, cremation, with competing funeral homes to see who will do the lowest prices. The alleged benefits of this is that people who have Funeral Consumer Guardian Society programs seemingly pay less than they would if they hadn't paid it. And a lot of people like this concept because funeral prices have gone up exponentially. They've actually increased in price faster than the average price increase of the average good. So there may be a reason why to have something like this, if anything, just to lock in or seemingly lower prices than versus not having it. Now, a couple of the points I'll make now that you have a better understanding, and this comes for free with any Lincoln Heritage program that you do purchase. Now, as a broker who is unaffiliated with Lincoln Heritage, I'm going to give you my personal opinion because I've dealt with Lincoln Heritage as a competing organization ever since I started in 2011 helping seniors with burial insurance. Here's my first couple of thoughts on this. First of all, not everybody applying for Lincoln Heritage will get first day full coverage. Some conditions that will be modified, again, remember that makes you wait 2 years, can be or might be eligible for first day full coverage with other companies. The problem is most, not all, but most Lincoln Heritage agents simply represent Lincoln Heritage and don't have multiple options for you. So what happens if you die, right? Inside of those 2 years. You don't have full coverage, and that's a problem if you didn't for some reason qualify. It would be a bigger problem, especially if you could have qualified for something else, which commonly is the case. I've had many clients who had Lincoln Heritage coverage with a waiting period who I could get first day full coverage with many, many times through the years. Second issue is that the price you pay for the Lincoln Heritage plan typically is higher than what you'll find with many competitively priced final expense burial insurance companies. Again, I'm a broker at Buy Life Insurance for Burial.com. It's my business, and we shop around with very competitively priced companies. And many times, our fixed income seniors, which constitutes most of our clients, are very happy to see how much more coverage they can get for the same price compared to Lincoln Heritage, or how much less they have to pay for the same amount of coverage with Lincoln. Either way, it tends to be a better overall offer. Again, not all the time. Can't say it perfectly all the time. But generally speaking, more people are helped by our ability to have options for coverage than hindered, as you would be if you most likely would have dealt with a Lincoln Heritage agent that only has Lincoln Heritage at their disposal. And the last thing I'll speak on with Lincoln Heritage and their Funeral Advantage program, specifically the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society program, is that the likelihood of you using this product in the way it's described, I would contest it. You see, I don't know how you out there deal with funeral homes, but my experience since 2011 is that many families over multiple generations use the same funeral home. They like dealing with the same people. There's a sense of tradition with a particular funeral home. And invariably what happens if you use the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society, they may shop your funeral out to a funeral home you've never dealt with, that you don't know if you can trust, that you don't have any experience with, that may be inconvenient for your family to actually get there. So I don't think the FCGS program is all that it's cracked up to be for that one reason. And couple that with the fact that, let's say you actually can get more coverage for the same price. Well, in the unlikelihood that you would save money, you're actually getting more coverage with the company maybe I would get you. So if there was a price increase, which I don't think necessarily happens that way in my experience, you still got more for it and you're still ahead. The other thing I'll say on how funeral homes really work too is that despite the reputation they have, it really is in the funeral business a high trust business model. If a funeral home does a bad job for a family, word spreads pretty quickly and very few people of that family will ever go back to that funeral home. And what I have found is that people who are not in a position to spend a lot of money in their funeral home or funeral is that many funeral homes will work with you. Maybe not the highest end funeral homes that only want the biggest prices, but there's a lot of modest family owned funeral homes that are bastions of the community that appreciate their good name and brand, and they will work with people who don't have a lot of money to put into a funeral. I've seen it time and again, and I just think that what it really comes down to is that most funeral homes want your business, if anything, to just be a trusted resource and part of the community, and will work the price down if for some reason you didn't have enough. Even though if you're shopping around for quality coverage, you're likely to get enough to do the job. But point is that funeral homes have something they have to preserve, and that's their good name. And many times what you'll find is that they do a great job and they earn their trust in the community. And I think for that reason, the FCGS program, coupled with the fact that if you get coverage from a broker like me, is not necessary. Not that it's a bad program. I just don't think it's necessary for a lot of the people out there. So that's my thoughts on Lincoln Heritage as a life insurance option, on the Funeral Advantage program as it compares to others, and on whether or not the FCGS program is really something you should consider. Now, again, if you're looking for coverage and you want a second opinion, we can help. Again, you can go to buylifeinsuranceforburial.com. That's my website. That's my company. We help people across the nation with their life insurance needs. You can request a quote on the right side or the top of the screen once you're at the website, or you can simply just go or call us directly at 888-626-0439. Talk to us that way, and I'll be more than happy to run a quote, or one of my friendly representatives running a quote in about 10 minutes and show you what your options are so you can make the comparison yourself if what we have to offer is a better value than what Lincoln Heritage does. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. See ya.